Hey everybody, Andrew Zimmern here. Thanksgiving week, Ask Me Anything, Spilled Milk edition. Obviously with the holiday, I'm finally home. I was traveling during the week, so my apologies. So sitting here in the living room talking to you guys. Ryan asks, I'm going to a Friendsgiving, that's great, and the host asked me not to bring food. Selfish. Which I'm trying not to be insulted by, obviously. Although there are people in my world I just tell don't bring food, and I actually assign them things like stopping at a pie shop and grabbing a pie or picking up beverages or whatever. Ryan asks, I need to bring something. What's a good fall Thanksgiving host gift? Do not bring a plant. Everybody else does. That's kind of like I stopped at the supermarket and all I got you was a fucking plant house gift. Pick a date that's important for that person and get a bottle of wine. Something they may want to consume on Thanksgiving, but maybe they want to consume on the weekend after all the relatives are gone, or friends. It's really easy. If they're recently married, you pick something 4 or 5 years ago. If they're 15, if you've known them for 15 years, pick something that's a vintage from 15 years ago. Get something special. I order a lot of stuff online. Verve Wine is who I do a lot of my buying through. VERVE is one of the best online resources for special wine, gifts to bring someone. You can have something overnighted to you, or you can just go to a quality wine shop in your town and do the same thing. But while wine sometimes feels like, oh, that's the easy out, if you tie the vintage to an important year for you with that person, it's very thoughtful. Alma writes, my partner and I are going to Puerto Rico next year. So what should we eat and where should we eat it? Make sure you don't stop eating there. Puerto Rican food is some of the best in the Caribbean. Obviously, they have a large amount of agriculture on the island. Well, let me explain this. There are some islands, St. John, beautiful island, love to visit, U.S. Virgins. They grow very little there. It's a big mound of sand. It's stunning, it's gorgeous, but it's rock and sand. Same thing for some of the British Virgin Islands. But there are islands, St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, obviously territory and should be a state, but if the Puerto Ricans want it. Where they have Puerto Rico has a giant mountain in the middle of it, a rainforest. It's just got stunning biodiversity. So the food there is absolutely out of control. And I will post in the Substack, because I found that it's easier for all of you when I don't just rattle off names, I actually put some down for you. So when we post this, I will include 5 places that you've got to eat. Andrew, what do you think about steamer ovens versus conventional ovens? Well, I like them both. Is that bad? I don't want to turn my camera around. It's a giant lighting issue because the light's perfect and I have no lights on. But I think some of you have seen when I'm cooking in my house, I have a giant under counter baking oven that holds whole sheet pans, and then I have 2 wall units. I have a conventional, well, it's not conventional, it's a convection combi oven, and then above it, I have a multifunction oven that also steams, that's hardwired into the water. It's from Gaggenau, Gaggenau. I can't recommend it enough. It's my favorite oven to cook in. I can bake and broil conventionally. It will pump water into a steamer and steam. It'll proof dough. I can do low temperature, 90, 100 degree, 80. Well, I can set it to whatever temperature I want. Moist heat defrosting. You can actually steam bread in there and then turn the steam function off and roast. So it's fantastic. There's a reheating option for leftovers, so I don't have to use my microwave. It's like a baby rationale. So my steam oven, even though it does a lot of things other than steam, is easily my favorite piece of equipment in my kitchen. Jennifer writes, oh, that was Jennifer. Rory writes, how can I get better at cooking over an open fire? It's just like anything else. You got to do it. The one thing to remember, and obviously, I think the reason Rory's asking is he's probably watching my Wild Game Kitchen show where I cook everything over open fire. In the corner, right there, that little what looks like a piano sticking out between the trees is a giant platform grill from fuegostx.com. I have about 6 grills of different kinds and smokers out there. I love cooking over open fire. I love smoking and barbecuing. To me, it's really fun because I'm not just managing the food in the pot or the food on the grate. I'm managing the temperature. When I cook on my stovetop, I just turn a dial and set it to 2 or 5 or 7. The burning wood is a really fun thing to deal with because you have to constantly have fresh coals. You can move something from a hot zone to a cold zone, from a cold zone to a hot zone, everything in between. When you want to lower the temperature, you push coals away with a small shovel. When you want to raise the temperature, you pull coals in. And the flavor of wood and the connection of man, fire, wood, food really turns me on. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a really awesome way to cook, and I love it. So to get better at it, what you have to do is do it. Now, the nice thing is there's some incredible books out there. I'm sure I'm gonna write one in the next couple of years myself. But until then, there's some really great barbecue books. Rodney Scott has one. Pat Martin has one. Rodney's is more barbecue specific. Pat is more open fire specific. There are some really, they're friends of mine. They both wrote great books about them. I'm looking over at my stack of books to see if there are any others that specialize in that. Well, those are 2 really good ones. Aaron Franklin's latest book is all about cooking over open fire, not just barbecue. So I would start with those. I would also watch, I hate to say it, I think Wild Game Kitchen is the best open fire cooking show of all time. And just because we're focusing on wild game and fish, we've designed every recipe to work with supermarket ingredients as well. So if I'm doing a dish with pheasant, I always give tips on how to do it with chicken. You get the point, right? Because I know not everybody has access to wild game. So to make sure that we appeal to a really broad audience, we've set out to do that. So watch that. That's Monday nights on the Outdoor Channel. If you don't get Outdoor Channel, it also airs on Tastemade. You can go to tastemade.com on your laptop and just enter Wild Game Kitchen in the search bar. I think they have the first 2 seasons on there. Season 3 is premiering now. And we're making season 4, sort of. We're changing the show up a bit, making it better. So it's either season 1 of something new or season 4 of Wild Game Kitchen, but it's the same show, just better. That's all I can say right now. Will you ever share the recipe for your short rib borscht? Yeah, it should be on my website. He said, looking right now, it just might be listed under something else. But I'm going to look right now for you. And, geez Louise, I will find it. That is another, yes. The short answer for you is yes. We will include that link when we send this out. What's your favorite Moroccan snack? Well, I don't know if they're considered snacks, but bastilla, pigeon pie, I have 6 squab frozen. I also do it with grouse, but there's 6 squab in my freezer that I take out and braise and shred the meat and season just to make the Moroccan pigeon pie bastilla. And the reason is it is the most delicious, and I make little individual ones like fancy Hot Pockets because I just love them so much. Meshui, whole roasted lamb. I use some of those units out there. I do that in the Moroccan style, and then pull the meat and put piles of ground cumin, chilies, and salt in front of people, let them dip into it, big piles of roasted eggplant and big piles of bread. There's nothing better than a meshui meal. I should also tell you that way, outside my front door is a 10 by 10-foot area right as you walk up the steps where I only grow mint. And the reason is because of my trips to Morocco. Whenever you're in a souk in almost any Moroccan town, market, there are mint vendors, and they pile fresh mint 15 feet high on a cart and just pull from the top and hand you, you buy mint by the armful because everyone uses it in cooking, but they also mostly use it in tea. And everywhere you go, there's mint tea, and the smell of fresh mint is in the air. And so rather than do that old restaurant trick of putting a bucket of apples by the front door and letting them sort of rot a little bit, you get that apple smell as you walk in, I put mint out there so that 6 months a year, all you smell walking into my house is mint. That's how obsessed I am with this, and it comes from my trips to Morocco. So yeah, but Bastia has to be my number one, and I turned it into a snack. Beulah writes, is this the Timberwolves year? I sure hope so. We have the pieces. We have the pieces. Barring injury, if Cat really decides that he's going to be a leader, despite the fact that this is obviously Ant's team, but Cat is the veteran. Cat is the one that has to take things seriously. Cat is the one that can't complain to refs. Cat is the one that has to motivate people on the sideline. I think the only thing that I'd like to see the Timberwolves, and I'm very close to that team, obviously one of my businesses, KZ Provisioning, that my partner Gavin Kaysen and I own, feeds the team and others, is that one natural leader that doesn't let anyone get down, make sure everyone gets up, sort of wants to put that team on its back. We'll see who emerges this year. This is it, right? And Rudy Gobert has to remember that he's as big as he is all the time. He can't shoot a little 4-footer, bend down again and put it in the basket with both hands. If he plays as big as he is all season long, I think we're in great shape. And of course, Slow-Mo and Naz Reid, two of my favorite Wolves, love them both. Anyway, it's rocking at the Target Center these days. What do you think about post-pandemic fees that restaurants say they'll refund if customers ask? I think it's bullshit. It feels weird to me that they're making it the diner's responsibility. Well, I'm not sure, Silky, that you're looking at it the right way. I mean that respectfully. Here's the deal. You want to charge a fee? Let people know what it's for. Let people know where it goes. Period. End of discussion. What I would prefer, but I don't have a magic wand, is if there was collusion amongst every single person in the food service world globally. And instead of self-flagellation and trying to make money some other way and not having balls, if the whole food world got up and charged what it cost to put the food on the plate, I think it would go a long way to fix our broken supply chain system. It would go a long way to fix a big piece of our food system. We'd be able to pay farmers more. I think there would be a greater balancing act in prices in other areas, and I think it would be fairer for everyone. Second thing we need to do is I'm not a tipping person. I think you pay people what they deserve to work at the job that they're doing in your restaurant. And so to compensate for some of the tips and some of the things that ownership is doing, like health insurance or, a higher wage or paid sick leave, all of the things I believe in, don't do it with an extra fee and then tell the diner, oh, by the way, we're underpaying everyone and we're keeping prices artificially low on our menu, but we're going to charge you an extra 20% so we can run a real business. I would advocate you run a real business from the start. And I think that's on restaurant owners. And I know we can do it. Luke writes, any sides you always make for Thanksgiving? Of course, I'm a classicist. If you've heard me talk about the state fair or really food in general, I love experimentation. I love modernism, and I do my version of things. Example, love green bean casserole, but I make mine from scratch. I roast green beans, I cut them, I put them in the bottom of the pan, I caramelize onions and mushrooms, I hit that with some roux, then add some stock and cream and herbs and a little bit of brandy and cook that down and make my own condensed mushroom soup, spread that across the top, then another layer of beans, then some more my own homemade mushroom mix, and then sprinkle it with crispy fried onions and bake it. I mean, it's great. I do mash sweet potatoes with smoked brown sugar and goat butter. I just like that smoky and tangy vibe. I have my stuffing, I have my gravy, I have my homemade cranberries. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I do mashed potato boats just because who doesn't love them? I mean, buttery, twice cooked potatoes, sweet and sour beets with pearl onions. I do a winter endive salad with a citrus dressing because you have to have something acidic to cut through all that other stuff. I'm doing a corn pudding this year, which I love. You know, it's just a corn casserole. It's a cross between cornbread and homemade cream corn, if they like had an awkward child together. What are some things you're thankful for this year? Wow. Everything. I mean, I think the world is, I can't make sense of the world right now. The rise of autocratic Christo-fascism in America, the virulent anti-Semitism, hate crimes against Jews are up 400% since October 7th. As a practicing Jew, that scares me. I don't know where the hatred is. Well, I do know where the hatred is coming from, but I find it very disturbing. We have a climate crisis that nobody seems to take seriously, even though it is going to change the way we live, eat, breathe, exist. It already is, and it will continue to. It is. We have the Ukraine horror. We have the Gaza, Hamas, Israel horror. I think situation with Iran is attacking our country by proxy. By the way, that's real news, not fake news. But they, they're a terrorist organization that has a lot of money, and they, have funded a lot of bombs flying from all parts of Africa and what we call the Middle East that U.S. warships have shot down. The last one coming, was it from Sudan that the Houthi fired, backed by Hezbollah? So I mean, these things all really concern me. Yet, I was just texting a friend. Man's inhumanity is, knows no bounds. But man's humanity has consistently beaten it every single time. And I believe in the power of our kindness and love for one another to triumph. We will see if I am right or wrong. Maybe my children will see that before I do. But I am so grateful for man's humanity. I'm grateful for all of you. I truly am. That this is how I make a living, and I love my job, and you all keep me in it and motivated and keep me learning and keep my desire to learn high. I'm grateful for my family and my friends. I'm grateful for the life I've been given, the good and the bad. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be of service to other human beings, probably above all other things, because it keeps me sane. And I'm grateful for the fact there's enough love in this world to triumph over the hate that I see in almost every corner of it. So with much love to all of you, have a great, great, great week. And check out all of my stuff at andrewzimmern.com. We have a great guide for Thanksgiving, getting ready for the big day. I guess that's all we have for this week. Until later.